At some point in the distant future, humans began colonizing the universe. The military contracting company EXOR, located in a massive complex in the sky, monitors a desolate world that houses a colony of imprisoned criminals and the capital city of this prison planet called Osiris. Above the complex is the fleet, a huge floating military base tasked with supporting new settlements. There resides Lieutenant Kane Somerville, a conflicted war hero who left Earth after an accident during an initial combat mission he led, due to a mistake he made that resulted in the death of nearly his entire crew. His superiors accused him of substance abuse, and although he was pardoned for the case, thanks to his decorated career as a fighter pilot, he and his family were never the same after that. Living in the fleet makes it difficult for him to see his 11-year-old daughter, Indy Somerville. Today, he takes her for a walk in the desert of the planet. Although she is not impressed with such an empty desert, Indy tells him that her mother thinks he is running away, but he deflects the comment by saying that he hasn't spoken to her in a long time and that he is proud to be part of a project that builds a new future for humanity. To win his daughter's goodwill, he lends her his weapon and teaches her how to shoot before they head out to check the new bunkers together. When they finish, Indy is sent to the city of Osiris to stay with a babysitter, as she cannot stay in the fleet with him. Kane promises her that he will be back in a week and that she can call him anytime. After a glimpse of the monsters lurking in the barren land during the night, morning arrives for Kane in the fleet. His AI, Travis, wakes him up and prepares his breakfast while playing his messages. Kane ignores the ones from a co-worker and his wife, but listens to Indy's while reviewing some reports. However, the message is abruptly cut off, and when Kane asks Travis to restore it, the AI says it can't because all communications with the surface have been temporarily suspended after disturbances in the prison. The person in charge of the EXOR complex is General Linux, who is considered the kind of person more interested in her own place in the universe than in the people who actually live in it. Currently, she is receiving a status report from the colony after the prison breach. Some creatures that EXOR created managed to get in and have been killing prisoners. The outer cities have also vanished, and it's only a matter of time before the monsters kill everyone on the surface. The Colonel wants to save as many lives as possible, but Linux thinks this will destroy the company's reputation, so she decides to call a meeting to present an alternative plan. However, she lies to the participants, among whom is Kane. She tells them that the prisoners have mutinied and are in possession of a lethal virus that EXOR had experimented with and are now using it to hold the planet hostage. If EXOR tries anything to intervene or rescue people, they will release the pathogen in the capital. This requires Protocol 84, which demands the complete decimation of the colony. Linux says that if the prisoners find out about this, they will be able to negotiate a better deal, giving them 23 hours to do so, and she assures everyone that the people in the capital and the families of their employees will be fine. After the meeting, Linux orders the Colonel to tag each participant to monitor their behavior during these 23 hours. If there's any unusual movement, they are to be isolated. Desperate after hearing the news, Kane tries to contact Indy, but to no avail, and when he asks Travis for reports on the prison incident, he is told that they are classified. The Colonel takes pity on him and, for the sake of their friendship, tells Kane the truth and says that there is no virus. What EXOR has been hiding all this time is the creation of creatures called Ragged that would be sent and used in the creation of new colonies. There is no hostage situation, the monsters have escaped and are moving towards the main city. In 23 hours, EXOR will detonate the reactors. Kane is furious with him for deceiving him and allowing him to bring his family when he knew what was happening on the surface, but the Colonel doesn't have time to argue. He tells Kane that they will lock down the hangar bay in 20 minutes, after which no one will be able to enter or leave the station. Kane decides to do what he does best, fly. He steals a ship and leaves the station, flying with exceptional skill to dodge the shots of the officers pursuing him. But when he forces the ship to exceed G-force to destroy the last EXOR guard, he begins to lose consciousness, and the emergency system takes over, ejecting him from the seat. Recovering at the last second, Kane manages to unbuckle his seatbelt and open the parachute, allowing him to land safely in the water, only to be knocked down by a mysterious figure with a weapon as he stands up. Kane wakes up on the ground and discovers that the person who dragged him there is Sai, who now points a gun at him. He tries to explain the situation using a lie about the prisoners having access to the reactors but finds out that Sai was a nurse in the prison, so he knows Kane isn't telling the truth. To convince him of his story about the planet being about to explode, Kane says he wants to save his daughter, who is currently in the capital, and that he will give him access to a secure bunker if he helps rescue her. So Sai agrees. A flashback begins, and Sai can be seen as a prisoner in the planet's prison. He is having lunch with two other inmates, Dim and Crate, while discussing an escape plan using information that another prisoner named Carmel gave. Crate thinks it's a suicide mission, but Sai believes it's now or never, so Crate and Din agree. When they receive confirmation that an inmate named Bostock and his group are also on board for the next step of the plan, they all need to be placed in solitary confinement to find the right way out. Carmel tries to get sent to solitary, but instead, he is dragged to a meeting with the warden Morton, who ridicules him for being religious and tells him he won't be sent to solitary anymore before beating him while two officers hold him. Meanwhile, Sai starts a fight in the cafeteria, which is interrupted by Morton and the guards, who, to everyone's surprise, allow the fight to continue as long as the crowd behaves since this is part of the plan. Crate doesn't behave and injures the man Sai hit, inciting a riot and causing the guards to intervene to stop them. The prisoners are sent to solitary, which consists of special rotating cells with flickering lights that can have maddening effects on the prisoners' minds. Sai also stays there until Morton comes to take him and Din for a very special purpose. Back in the present, Sai points out to Kane that they won't make it to the capital in time. Kane says they won't make it on foot, but there is a smuggling post beyond the mountains where they can find a vehicle. Their conversation is interrupted when ships fly overhead, and the men duck to hide in the tall grass, meaning EXOR is already looking for Kane. Moments later, they arrive at a bar at the post where Jip and Bill are having fun throwing knives at a human-shaped target. The barwoman tells Kane that the couple owns the bus outside, so he tries to talk to them, but they get annoyed because he interrupted their game. Jip puts a knife to his neck while Bill confronts him, so Sai intervenes and says that Kane is a defector from EXOR who just wants to see his family. He is also willing to pay $20,000 for the trip. Bill agrees, provided that Kane can pass Jip's test, which involves getting high and throwing a knife at the target. Kane's aim is perfect, so he passes the test, and the four agree to leave and make a stop to buy some weapons. Another flashback begins in the prison. Dim wakes up inside a cage and sees a monster approaching him. The creature strikes his neck with its tongue and injects him with some kind of dangerous substance. Sai can hear his screams from another room while also waking up inside a cage. Morton is nearby as well. He begins to explain Xer's terraforming project to him and how they are creating these creatures, turning the prisoners into beings capable of evolution and adaptation, no matter the environment. Suddenly, Sai disappears as the floor opens beneath him, and he reappears in another room where Bostock is waiting, having successfully executed the plan. He obtained fake clothes and IDs, including one that says Sai is a nurse, but their preparations are interrupted by Crate, who says he let the devil loose. The prisoners start running as the creatures begin killing everyone in the building, including the monster that used to be Carmel, who now kills Morton. Bostock and Crate want to go to the capital, but Sai tells them he can't go with them because he wants to go to the opera, so they part ways. There is another time jump, and now Earth can be seen 2 years ago. Sai is being informed that he will be sent to prison for 20 years and that he will be painted as a monster because he violated the code and betrayed the public's trust. Sai thinks nothing else matters. Back in the present, Kane and Sai are waiting for the weapons they ordered. They are brought by two men, Mandel and Joe, who demand $30,000 as payment. Kane pays the amount they ask for, and the group leaves. As soon as they are out of sight, the men celebrate their new money. After drinking and dancing, they notice something strange in the distance. The monsters are coming to attack them. Joe and Mandel try to defend themselves by shooting through the windows, but while they manage to kill a few, the other creatures still enter their cabin. Joe sees no other option but to detonate a grenade. Later that night, Kane is telling everyone on the bus about the monsters and the bomb that will explode in 4 hours. They have a philosophical conversation about how they got there, what fate will be, and the consequences. They also talk about the ethics of using prisoners for free labor. When they arrive at Osiris a few hours later, the city is in complete chaos due to the monsters attacking every corner and infecting more humans to turn them. The group draws their weapons and agrees that while Kane goes out to find his daughter with Sai, Jip and Bill will provide cover and protect the bus. The couple shoots every monster that comes close, while Kane and Sai enter the building where Indy lives. They encounter one of the neighbors who tells them he never saw Indy before letting them go upstairs. They break into the apartment and find the babysitter dead, but Indy is safe because she was hiding in the closet. After telling Indy that the babysitter went home to protect her from the truth, the three try to go down the stairs but are blocked by a monster, so they will have to find another way out. Meanwhile, Jip drags Bill back inside the bus because he was wounded by a creature. She tries to find a first aid kit, to no avail, so she has to watch as Bill dies in her arms. Kane, Sai, and Indy reach the rooftop of the building and lock the door behind them, as there is no other way out. Sai grabs Indy and jumps off the roof, landing safely on top of the bus. Kane follows them afterward but almost falls. Fortunately, Sai grabs him and helps him up onto the bus with them. They start banging on the hatch and begging Jip to open the door to let them in, but Jip hesitates because of what happened to Bill. Eventually, she gives in and opens the hatch for them before starting the bus to drive them away. While Sai uses a blanket to cover Bill's body, Kane explains to his daughter what is happening and apologizes for not being more present in her life. Indy accepts his apology. He also gives Jip directions to the bunker and makes sure everyone learns the code to enter the EXOR complex. Linex is in the process of initiating Protocol 84 when she is informed about a bus approaching one of their bunkers. She sends a ship after them, and it's Indy who sees it through the window, so Kane makes her hide before telling Jip not to make the turn so the ship won't discover where they're going. After following them for a while, the ship veers off, and Jip makes the turn towards the bunker. They almost make it, but suddenly the ship appears in front of them and starts shooting, leaving only after it runs out of ammo. Jip and Kane are killed, but Sai and Indy are okay. Indy doesn't want to leave her father, but there's no time to waste. Sai picks her up and takes her out of the bus to try to reach the bunker. A monster finds them on the way and chases them through the caverns, managing to infect Sai with its tongue, but the man shoots the monster in the eye to get rid of it. They find the bunker entrance, and Indy enters the code. Both she and Sai make it inside just before the planet is bombed. However, Sai starts transforming into a monster, so he asks Indy to find something sharp so he can kill himself. Indy refuses because she can't do it alone, so she talks to him and touches him as his body transforms. Another flashback shows Sai's life as a nurse in a hospital on Earth. He has a breakdown when he realizes the patients they bring in are his wife and daughter and that neither of them survives. So he abuses his position as a nurse to enter the room of the guy who caused the accident that killed his family to punch him and try to strangle him, but security stops him. Back in the present, many days have passed since the explosion. Two explorers find the bunker and see Indy in the distance wearing a spacesuit. They are attacked by Sai, who has become a monster but who has retained some rationality thanks to Indy, and after killing one of the explorers, he uses the chance to interrogate the other about what is happening outside. The explorer explains that the flotilla is returning to Earth because it was recalled after the catastrophe, and the story they're telling everyone is that the prisoners revolted and took control of the reactors, causing a meltdown, with no survivors. Indy says that if the explorer wants to live, she will take her and Sai to the flotilla without being detected. The woman has no choice but to agree. The movie ends with them boarding the explorer's ship, and the woman watches as Indy and Sai interact through sign language before Indy caresses his head and holds his hand, saying that they're finally going home and bidding farewell to her father.